Hey, it's Gabe with API Nation. I have a special treat for you today. We have Kevin McCarthy here from RealGeeks. He's the CEO. RealGeeks has been rolling, making it easy for real estate agents to grow their business for 10 years now. Way to go. Congratulations, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Gabe. Thanks for that intro. And little history on Real Geeks is I started the company with my partner about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was the real estate expert and I was the technology guy. So
Yeah.
we call ourselves Real Geeks, but I'm running the company today and I'm the geek side. So you're going to be getting a lot of statistics. You're going to be getting a lot of nerd talk here. So buckle up and we're going to tell you why it is that 87% of every real estate agent fails in their first 5 years.
Yeah. That is a huge number and something like I'm sure is on a lot of agents' mind, especially as things start to, as everybody's kind of saying, everything's transitioning or shifting is the word I keep saying is we're all getting ready for a shift. But kind of as we approach this shift, we were thinking, all right, what people need to be looking at is their pipeline. Is your pipeline healthy? Is your real estate pipeline healthy? So we figured we'd hop on with you. You guys are pipeline experts. Like that's what you do. You build it, you make it flow. And so I figured we just hop in and do that. So just to start out, if somebody's coming in here, they've never heard about a pipeline or they keep hearing about it and they've been afraid to ask, what is a pipeline for a real estate agent?
Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah, so it's just going to be your source of business,
Hmm.
right? So a pipeline is going to have to be a way that you get your leads. You have to get leads somehow, right?
Right.
And once you've got your leads, you have to figure out what to do with them. And you also are going to start building up a database of your leads, and you need to do something with them there as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So all of these leads being people who are interested in buying or selling a home using your services, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all of these are parts of the pipeline. Of course, Real Geeks makes technology to help you do all those different phases of the pipeline and power your pipeline. But ultimately, you've got to be the one that's making it happen.
Got it. So pipeline is kind of just it's a way of visualizing your leads and moving them through to like create business. It sounds like
That's right. That's right.
cool. Cool. So I mean, it might seem sort of obvious, but the pipeline, you're building it, it's your leads, it's your business. What's kind of the importance of visualizing it as a pipeline instead of just thinking of like, I have a lot of people, a lot of phone numbers, and I do business with them. Why do people usually kind of think of it as a pipeline?
Yeah. Yeah, right. Well, it's got to be you have to think of it instead of just being a single phase. Like if you just get a lead and you just call them once and maybe
Mm-hmm.
it works, maybe you make a connection or maybe you don't. You're not thinking of your whole lifetime of that lead as it progresses through your pipeline, right? So the beginning is just going to be you get a lead somehow
Mm-hmm.
and maybe make your initial phone call, but if you don't get them right away, you're going to have to follow up until you get a hold of them. And then once you get a hold of them, you've got to talk to them. Maybe that eventually leads to a transaction, but you're still not done. They've still got to go into your database so that you can keep nurturing. So it's a whole life cycle of a customer is a good way to think about it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So instead of just, thinking that is a person, I did an action and now who knows what happens.
Right.
So the pipeline is kind of like a nice tool to see, okay, I know what happens next basically with this person. So it's not kind of one and done,
Yeah,
um, which is, huge. Okay, cool. So you
exactly.
mentioned kind of, I've generated leads and you've kind of hinted at some other parts of the pipeline. So there's obviously different stages to a pipeline. What would you say are the stages, and can you kind of take us through them?
Yeah. Sure, of course. Thanks for that. Yeah. So the first phase, the first stage that a lead is going to do is it's going to get generated somehow, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
have to get a lead somehow. One good way to do that is going to be with a home search website.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of leads go out there and search for homes, maybe on a Zillow or a Trulia or something, and you can pay them for a lead. You can get a lead by buying it from a Zillow or something, for example.
Yeah.
But if you want to go ahead and invest in your own business, you can go and create a website. So you're not paying Zillow for leads. You're going to start generating leads yourself.
Hmm.
And if you have a good home search website, it's going to have something on it called a lead capture or a forced lead capture, where
Mm-hmm.
If a prospective home buyer wants to see a listing, then they try to do a search, and then before they can see all the information, we're going to ask for their contact info to generate the lead. So, good home search website, you're going to have lead capture on it. It's going to have A/B testing. So you're going to the person powering your web or company powering your website for you is going to have invested a lot of time in making sure that it captures leads at a high rate, turns traffic to the website into contact information to generate a lead for you.
Yeah.
They're going to have a lot of focus on page speed. So a good home search website is going to have really fast loading pages and fast interaction. I spent a lot of time working on that stuff for RealGeeks because I knew
Yeah.
it was super important. For example, Google actually did a study recently where they figured out that a tenth of a second, just a tenth of a second faster on your website is going to increase your conversion rate from traffic into a lead of 9%.
Wow.
9%. You'd think a tenth of a second isn't even perceptible
Yeah.
by a person, but if you can speed up that website by a tenth of a second, you get 9% more leads from the same traffic going to the site. So
That's crazy. That's got to be one of those get things where I'm opening up a website and then just that's taking too long. I'm moving on. I'm going back. I'm
exactly.
searching again.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. And if it's
that's
quick and you can get around and it's easy to use and it's intuitive, you're going to want to
yeah,
spend more time on it, and you'd be more likely to put your contact information into the
yeah.
website.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Hey, you talked a little bit about building this home search website, and
Yep.
obviously you guys do this. This is kind of your expertise. Um, I'm sure a lot of agents kind of just think, oh, there's already monsters out there. There's Zillow, there's Trulia, Redfin. Uh, I'm just going to get from them because I don't know who's going to search for me. They're not going
Right.
to search for Gabe Hackstrom, real estate agent, and find my awesome listing page. So how do you get around that? How do you get found when there's the giant, huge beast in the way?
Yeah. Yeah. So you need to get traffic onto your website that converts the traffic into leads for you.
Hmm.
So how do you feed that machine? How do you get traffic in there? Well, there's a few different ways. One of them is you can just use ads. You can buy ads on Google or Facebook, and they will send traffic to the website. So if you ever Google, real estate in Dallas, Texas, I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Yep.
There will be at the top of Google, like the first 4 or 5 spots. Those are actually people who bought an ad to appear right there. So,
Okay.
and you can customize what keywords appear, but you would want to do whatever areas or neighborhoods that you specialize in, and that costs money to appear there. But that's one way to get traffic onto your website. Another way to do it is with SEO, which means search engine optimization. And if your website is a platform that is able to be optimized,
Uh-huh.
uh, you can appear for some queries on Google if you spend a lot of time creating really good content and getting links going into your website. It's not an overnight kind of thing, but if you spend a lot of time doing it, then you
Yeah.
start getting traffic going to your website outside of ads. So
Okay.
a good way to do that would be to specialize in like a small neighborhood or an area or something special about where you live, or a school, or something that you're an expert in your small area that, Zillow is not going to have a really good page full of content about,
Right.
the library that's in next door in your neighborhood. Right.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, especially for the neighborhood. Because I don't think Zillow has kind of like neighborhood pages.
Yeah,
So if
or
somebody's searching,
right.
go
Or
ahead.
if they do, they don't have a lot of content about it. They might have a paragraph that's written by
Yeah.
some copywriter, but you can make videos about your neighborhood. You can create a blog
Hmm.
posts about your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the better the content is that you create, the more people are going to link to your website, and the higher you're going to go up in the search rankings, is how
Uh,
that
so
works
you're
on.
kind of like building your reputation as like, I am this neighborhood expert. Come talk to me and let's do some real estate. But when they search, even your reputation with Google is like, yeah,
Yep.
you need to go talk to this website. This is where
Yep.
people hang out a lot after
Right.
they search for this. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Google, if you haven't done this, set up your Google business profile as well.
Oh yeah.
I think it's called Google My Business, but maybe they changed the name now. But it's if you search for a business name, like if you search Gabe Real Estate, you would
Yep.
pop up on the side of Google, and you gotta have that set up. So there's a place for Google reviews to go, and link your website in there, and that's another way to get traffic to your
Oh,
site.
cool. Cool. So a few different ways to generate leads through your website, which is huge because I think it's like 90%, it's over 90% of people are going to search for their next real estate transaction. That's the first thing they do is search online.
That's
They
right.
don't pick up the phone and call somebody.
That's
I
right.
don't even, I don't even know how you would do that. Like, you know,
Right.
pre internet, I don't know who you would call and be like, I'm ready to buy. It's
Yep.
pretty good. It's a different world. Um,
Yep. So another good tool for lead generation on a website, besides the home search, is the home valuation.
hmm,
So the way the home valuation tool works, you've probably seen ads like this that say, "How much is my home worth? Find out how much my home is worth."
yeah, I love those. Yeah.
Hey, right. So you click on that, it goes to a search form that says, "Okay, great. We'll give you an instant property valuation. Just put in your address," and you put in the address, and it looks up your home using crazy algorithm based on sold prices and comes up with an estimate for how much your home is going to be worth. But in order to see that estimate, you can do a capture. So you can say you have to lead capture form. You have to put in um, the uh, the name and the email and the phone number in order to continue. And an interesting thing there is uh, if you don't put in your name and your address or your name and your email, we still have your mailing address from the first step. So you could
Yeah.
have what we call those partial leads. So you at
Hmm.
least know that someone at that address is potentially interested in selling their home. So you could send them a postcard or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, these are a good way to generate people who are interested in potentially selling their home.
Cool. So this kind of brings up a question I had when we talked about this earlier. You have a pipeline, you're generating two very different kinds of leads, which you're probably going to handle slightly different. Does this mean you have two different pipelines, or do you treat these the same, or how do you kind of go about this?
Yeah, it depends on the size of your business. If you're an
Yeah.
individual realtor, you just have your one pipeline. You know,
Yeah.
if you get a big business with multiple agents, you can have them working different types of leads.
Okay.
But I think if you're an individual realtor, then you got to be working both sides,
Yeah.
trying to get listings and trying to get buyers.
You just got to you just got to realize these are new guys. I gotta work them, and then um, refer to the notes in your CRM or RealGeeks to find out how to work them and then go about it. Cool. Uh, so you've generated the lead. What happens now? I got this sitting in my database in my RealGeeks in my CRM. What happens now?
Yep. So the great question. The most important thing, the thing you got to do is you got to call them like on
Uh-huh.
on the telephone. Um, hopefully you have one of those, and you got to call them on the telephone as soon as possible. So if you wait, even just there's some studies that have some crazy stats. So if you respond just in the first minute after that lead arriving, then your lead conversion rate is going to go up by 391%. I found this stat on the internet.
That
All right.
is,
And if you're in the first 5 minutes after this lead inquires, it's going to be 21 times more effective at generating a sale than responding after 30 minutes. So it's
wow. Okay.
absolutely key that you respond as soon as possible, as soon as that lead arrives.
Yeah.
Okay, well, a problem we've run into with our customers is we have a lot of single realtors that don't work on a team,
Hmm.
and they can't always respond immediately because they're not always, sitting by their computer waiting for a lead to come in. We have an
Right.
app, so we'll ping
Right.
you on your app, but even then, maybe you're out at a showing or maybe you've got something else going on. So we've created some technology to try to help you with that.
Oh,
So
cool.
one thing we've got is we have an automated SMS autoresponder, automated workflow thing. So you can set up a campaign that'll automatically send a text or an email or a whole sequence whenever a lead comes in that matches certain criteria. Uh, Another product that we have, we call it Geek AI.
Hmm.
So this is a artificial intelligence that pretends to be your assistant,
Oh,
and it
cool.
will engage people who inquire on your website automatically. So, they say, "Hey, this is Robin. I'm Gabe's assistant. What are
Yeah.
you looking for? See, you're on the side." And they'll start engaging in an automated way so that hopefully they keep that lead warm until the agent can step in and actually talk to the
That is
lead.
awesome. Yeah. No, I mean the when you read those numbers, let's do it in the first minute, let's do it in the
Yeah,
first 5 minutes.
yeah,
I mean that chart is just like straight up here. Lead comes in, and then it's just like bam, just
it's
straight
nuts.
down after a couple of minutes.
It's
That is
nuts. Yeah.
crazy. The AI thing sounds especially cool. Pretty soon, man, it's just gonna. I'm sure there's an app out there. They're working on it where it's gonna help you shop for a house, And it's just going to be an AI that calls around, and pretty soon it's just going to be an AI that talks to your AI, and no human is going to do any talking, and it's just going to be two bots that bought a house together, and now somebody lives there. So it'll be
Yeah,
really interesting. Crazy times, pretty
it's
cool
gonna be
times though.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to get that speed to lead. That's like the next thing. Automated SMS, some autoresponders, some workflows. Very cool. So once you do this speed to lead, I've reached out, I've called this person, I said, let's do business, or my AI has done that. Now what happens? He's like, what happens next in the pipeline?
Yeah. So you've called this lead hopefully in the first minute.
Mhm.
Uh, even so, so NAR, the National Association of Realtors, says that you're only going to convert from 0.4% to 1.2% of your leads that come in.
Ooh, yeah.
So I've done a study with some customer data, and I've seen it's closer, it's somewhere around 1 to 3%, not totally off from what NAR sees.
That's a pretty good boost. Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, that I've seen that really just kind of blew my mind when I saw it, is that only half of that 1 to 3% is going to convert in the first year, the whole first year after that lead is created and inquires with you, right? So
Hmm.
that's only 0.5% to 1.5% are going to convert in the first year.
Hmm.
The other half is going to convert over years 2 and 3.
Oh, okay.
So how is that lead converting a year later or 2 years later, and how are they remembering that they filled out your form like 3 years ago, right? So
Yeah.
that's lead nurture, which is the last stage of the pipeline, depending on how you look at it. You have to, lead nurture means just making sure that you continue to stay in front of your leads, contact them, and remind them who you are, and hopefully provide them some value, right? So how do you do lead nurture? Well, hopefully you have a CRM. So if
Hmm.
you generate your leads off of your website, your home search leads, your home valuation leads, even if you buy leads off Zillow or for some other lead source, make sure you put them into a CRM
Hmm.
that is going to let you do lead nurture. CRM means customer relationship manager. It's like a database, a piece of software where you can store all of your contacts, right?
Hmm.
You also need to put into your CRM your past clients. If you've done business with other, helped other folks buy or sell their home,
Yeah.
get them into your CRM or your sphere of influence, your friends. They call it the sphere or circle of influence or whatever. It's your
Yeah.
friends or your colleagues or people you work
Neighbors. Yep.
for,
Yep.
your neighbors. Put them into that CRM so that you can start doing nurture with them. And what does nurture mean? Well, one thing you can do is you can send them out an email with the CRM. uh, Problem with most email campaigns is everybody today's got email fatigue, right? You get a million emails. If you send out some content that's not too relevant to them, they're just going to unsubscribe or not read it, right? So
Right.
like if you send out an email like, here's my favorite banana bread recipe, or like, here's how to get wine out of your carpet, like who cares? They're not going to read that
Yeah.
thing. What they are interested in though is going to be real estate data about their
Hmm.
neighborhood. So when they go and do the search on your website, we record and see everything that they're looking at and the searches that they're doing, and we automatically set up a search so that we know the type of property that they're looking for. And
Hmm.
so they automatically get subscribed to email updates with the area that they're interested in, and we see really good open rate statistics on that email because it's something that they're interested in. uh,
Oh,
the other side of that is market reports. So if they own a home, they're probably interested in their investment, right? They bought this thing. They
yeah.
want to know, hey, my neighbor sold for X, or this one is selling for Y, just
Yeah.
in an area around their house. And so you can set them up on a market report that's going to keep them up to date on what's happening in the
That's
market.
cool. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I remember. I do remember. Pre market reports, pre everything like that. Whenever you would put up that, the sign, the for sale sign, there's like the little canister full of information
Yeah,
to take. It was always the neighbors who run over to take it because they want to know how
that's
much that guy's selling his house for.
they want to
Uh,
know.
yeah,
Yep. So they'll
which is
open that email. They
yeah,
open that email from you, and then whenever they decide that they want to sell, they go, "Oh yeah, Gabe's been emailing me like every month about the value of my house, and
yeah,
it's really been going up. I'm gonna hit that guy up."
yeah. You're like a click away. It's ready to go. I don't have to go find. Yeah, very
That's
cool.
right. That's
Uh,
right. So another thing that your CRM is going to do for you, if you have a CRM, a special CRM that's connected to a website, is it's going to help you call people who've been sitting in your database for a while that you haven't called, you might end up with hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of leads in this database, and you can't call them all at once, and you want to know who to call. Well, if your CRM is connected to the website, if that person goes back to the website
Oh,
after a while, or if they
yeah.
favorite a property or they save a search, it'll flag them and say, hey, Gabe signed up like 2 years ago. He disappeared, but he's back on your website today, favoriting properties. So
Yeah.
that's a good signal for you to know who you should be calling. That's the magic of the website connected to the CRM.
That makes a lot of, because like 2 or 3 years later, you don't want to be calling them every week and be like, how you feeling about selling your house this week? But the website telling you,
Yeah.
informing on them and being like, hey, this guy's interested. Now's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. And
They're
sometimes
warming up.
they'll say, well, that's weird. I was just on your website. Oh, no
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
No
cool.
surprise. Yeah.
Right.
Very cool. So lead nurture. So you're generating leads through your home search website, your speed to lead, kind of using SMS or even an AI bot to kind of get on there, be your assistant, reach out to people real early, first minute. And then you're nurturing them for up to, 3 years and maybe even beyond
Yep.
to create more deals.
Yep.
So that's kind of the pipeline,
Yep.
basically.
Yeah, the
And
last let me make sure I put this one in. A very important step is after you do a transaction with somebody, then you make sure you put them in there into your CRM or flag them as someone that you've worked with before. Because I got
uh-huh.
a couple more crazy stats to drop on you. So according to the National Association of Realtors, 91% of all realtors never contact the buyer or the seller of a home after a closing.
Wow.
Okay, 91%. That's a
Yeah, just
huge
ghost them.
opportunity
Yeah.
there. That yeah,
Yeah.
you don't even say like, hey, let me know if you want to if you interview your friends, ask for a referral. Okay, 88% of buyers said they would use their agent again or recommend them to others, but only 25% of home sellers use the agent with whom they'd worked previously.
Wow. So like
So
63% of people are just
right. They
leaving a
say,
lot of
"Oh
money on
yeah,
the
I'd
table.
love
Yeah.
to work with that agent," but then they don't.
Yeah.
Why is that? Well, it's because 91% of realtors never contact the person after they do business. So
Wow.
be better than that 91%,
Yeah.
set them up on a market report in your CRM. You know the house they bought.
Right.
Hey Gabe, love this house I just sold you. Tell you what, I'm going to set you up on a market report so that every month you're going to know what's going on with your neighbors and keep up to date on your real estate investment. Is that something you'd be interested in?
Yeah. Yeah. That's sweet. That's very cool. So you're kind of we they call it a pipeline and it is in many ways a pipeline, but it's almost it becomes kind of a circle where you
It
start
does.
to as soon as they finish, they come out the other end of the pipeline, the deal comes out, you cash the check. It's just put them back in and let's go again. Let's nurture a couple more years and let's do it. Very cool.
Exactly right.
So if you kind of think of it as a circle, um, or just as a pipeline, we can go back to that just for simplicity's sake. As you think about that, if you're an agent and you're thinking, what they're describing, I'm kind of doing. What would you kind of describe as like some signs of an unhealthy pipeline that people could be looking for in their business and thinking, oh, that is kind of what happens to my leads or what happens to my clients? Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can know if your pipeline's working because you know that you're getting business from it, right?
Yeah.
So what could be happening? Maybe you're getting leads and you're calling them. Hopefully, remember in the first minute, maybe first
Yeah.
5 minutes, right? You're calling them. If you don't get them, what happens to them, right? Are you
Right.
getting any deals from leads that you generated a year ago or 2 years ago, right? If you treat these leads as a pipeline, let me give you an example. Like when leads come and they're searching on your website, a lot of them are different phases in their life or in their real estate journey, right?
Hmm.
Some of them are going to be, oh yeah, no, I'm ready to buy. I picked out the house. Just go, just
Yeah.
let me write you the commission check, right? But a lot of them are just sort of in what I've heard called the dreaming phase, where they
Right.
go, yeah, man, I'd love to move. I'm not really sure what I want. Let me click around on here. Maybe I'd like to go see. I'm not ready to talk to a realtor yet, but I want to goof around. And so they're the people that might take a year or two to turn into a sale.
Hmm.
But you have to remember that they're not just sitting there in your database, right? They're probably in other realtors' databases as well,
Oh yeah.
doing their dreaming there. And so you need to be the one that's continuing to follow up with them and nurture them and stay out in front. We call it top of mind. so
Mm,
that when they are ready to go buy or sell, they think of you.
got it. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, there's a lot of dreamers right now. That's like a big thing. I think because of the how easy it is to look for a house,
That's right.
and there's kind of a big migration happening right now. So everybody's kind of looking at different cities and dreaming about what would it be like to move to West Coast, East Coast, Midwest. What could I buy there? So very cool. So outside of an unhealthy pipeline where basically leads are coming in and it sounds like they're just not moving, they're either just falling out, they're not being contacted. You do one and done. That's kind of seems like, and that makes sense because the plumbing analogy would be the water's just dammed up and it's stuck
Yeah.
and nothing's coming out the other end.
Right.
Very
But
unhealthy. Yeah.
go back to that stat where when we look at our, we did our own study, and only half of the leads that our customers are converting are converting in the first year. If you're
Mm,
not doing the nurture, you're not going to get the other half, right? So if you're not
right.
putting your leads into CRM, you're not staying in front of them, you're not treating your leads like a pipeline, you're losing out on half of the business, and you're still paying the same amount for the leads, whether it's from
Right.
Google Ads or Zillow or whatever.
Crazy. Yeah. You could double your business just like a few steps.
That's right.
That's crazy. So that's the next thing, pipeline growth. Maybe you have a healthy pipeline and you're thinking, how do I do this? How do I make the pipe bigger? How do I make this move faster? Any kind of tips, tools you can use as an agent to do that, blow it out?
Yeah. Well, hey, if your pipeline's working well, feed it,
Yeah.
right? Put more leads in the top of the funnel. So that's going to be if you're not doing PPC ads, like Google,
Pay per
it's called
click. Yeah.
pay per click. If you're not
Yep.
doing Google ads or Facebook ads, or if you're not, you know, asking your customers for referrals or anything like that, do that to feed your pipeline some more.
Yeah.
And if your pipeline's cranking, maybe you need to grow your business, hire some more agents, hire some ISAs. Maybe I
Yeah.
know, Gabe, you're an expert now thanks to your last webinar on ISAs. So
Yeah. We just did a couple webinars on ISAs. You guys could definitely check those out. But yeah, ISAs, inside sales agents. So they'll basically be, you're running these great ads on Facebook, on Google, which means a lot of people are contacting you, and you can scale it by running more ads. But you're only one person, so you're running all these ads. All these people are calling you, and what
yep,
do? At that point, you have an ISA or another agent who comes in and basically just handles these leads for you.
that's
Um,
right. And ISAs can call your database or your pipeline as well. Right.
yeah, very cool. Sweet, cool. So pipeline growth at that point kind of seems like just do more of the same, and then make sure you have the staff, the tools to make sure these leads are still going through the pipe and they're not also getting jammed up again. So yeah, you're growing those leads, feeding it, and then you have the tools to make sure you're still doing the speed to lead, and you have the stuff set up to make sure you're still nurturing, and that will grow your pipeline. That'll grow your business. Cool.
Right.
Very cool. So any before we head out, any kind of final words for people as they now go back and they look at their pipeline and they're evaluating it and they're maybe thinking
Yeah.
about some changes?
Yeah, well, let's bring it home. Why do 87% of real estate agents fail in their first 5 years? Well, probably because they haven't got a good pipeline going. Right?
Yeah.
Gotta have that. It's key to running a business, especially in this online age. If you're generating leads, you can't just call them once or just send them a text message and expect it to close. It's going to be an investment over the next several years to turn them into business.
Yeah. The fundamentals. Yeah. I think was it 87% of people fail in the first 5 years?
That's right.
Yeah. That is that definitely kind of whiffs of these people did not get the fundamentals down, and they got some early success. Maybe they had a few friends who were going to buy and they went out and helped them. And then after that, they weren't sure how to keep feeding that pipeline.
That's right. Treat it like a business,
Yeah.
right? Because it is. If you're going to be successful, you have to think of it as a business. How can I invest in a way that's going to help me grow?
Yeah. Very cool. Cool. Well, that is it. That is your real estate pipeline healthy? Let's do it. Get those, uh, generate those leads through the home search website. Use some home valuation tools to get seller leads. Make sure you're accomplishing the speed to lead. First minute, it's going to make sure you convert the leads you're working so hard to generate, and then nurture them a couple years. It's not unusual for half of the leads you generate to not show up and ask you for, to show them around, do some open houses or do a listing appointment for a couple of years. So very cool. Well, Kevin, this is it. This has been huge. I think this has been very helpful for me to just go back through the fundamentals and talk about building out a real estate business. So there it is. We're going to have some links in the description to RealGeeks. You can learn more about Kevin, more about the tools they build there, the SMS and email autoresponders, the AI, all that stuff. And also a lot of agents, as they're building their pipeline out, they'll automate some stuff in the pipeline. So I'll also put a link in there for API Nation where you can automate those leads going through the pipeline. So cool. Kevin, thanks again. We will talk to you soon.
Great. Thank you, Gabe. It's been fun.